Hey guys, it's Matt on Movies, and tonight I'm going to be talking about movies so controversial they actually went and caused some pretty serious international incidents. Let's get into it. So back in 2014, Sony Pictures rolled out a comedy called The Interview. Seth Rogen and James Franco play celebrity journalists, and the whole plot revolves around the CIA recruiting them to assassinate North Korea's Kim Jong-un. On paper, it sounds like one of those wild ideas only Hollywood would try, but the fallout turned very real very quickly. On November 24th, a hacker group called Guardians of the Peace managed to break into Sony's servers. They dumped tons of private information, everything from staff emails to entire unreleased movies, straight onto the internet. Their message was clear: pull the interview or else. These hackers threatened actual terrorist attacks on any movie theater that dared to show the film. Within days, North Korea was the obvious suspect. They called the movie an act of war, promised merciless retaliation, and basically tried to scare everyone away from the premiere. And the thing is, it worked. Sony pulled the big release, canceled the red carpet, and yanked it from most theaters. For a while, it looked like nobody would ever see the movie. Eventually, Sony did put it out online and let a few indie theaters show it. But the main impact was clear. One comedy brought a global company to its knees and managed to provoke a whole country into threatening war. That's not something you see every day. This one is Richard Attenborough's 1987 biopic about apartheid South Africa, focusing on journalist Donald Woods and activist Steve Biko. Kevin Kline plays Woods, Denzel Washington plays Biko. The movie follows Woods as he investigates Biko's suspicious death while in police custody, which puts a target on his own back and eventually forces him out of the country. The South African government did approve the film at first. It even had its premiere without any official problems. But just hours later, the authorities reversed their decision and banned the film completely, claiming it was a threat to public safety. Their justice minister said it broke the law against quoting banned persons. This happened since Woods himself was banned in South Africa. And it didn't end with censorship either. Movie theaters showing Cry Freedom got bomb threats, and in Port Elizabeth, somebody actually set off a gasoline bomb. When the government announced the ban, it caused an uproar. The South African Council of Churches went public, accusing the government of trying to erase its own history and warning that without truth, there's no way forward to peace and justice. The move just made the film's message even louder, both inside the country and around the world. Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ came out in 1988 and went straight into the awards conversation. The film shows Jesus Christ as a human being, struggling and doubting, not just walking on water, but actually dealing with fear and temptation. That decision set off an international backlash almost instantly. Religious groups all over the world protested, and the movie ended up banned in several countries. Blockbuster, back when that meant something, refused to carry it at all. In Paris, things went from protest to outright violence. A group of activists firebombed a theater showing the film, and 13 people were hurt. In other French cities, people released tear gas or even set off stink bombs during screenings. Universal International Pictures basically admitted the campaign worked, saying, "They have massacred the film's success, and they have scared the public." On the other side, Catholic activists said, "We will not hesitate to go to prison if it is necessary." That's how seriously people took this film. Oliver Stone's 1994 crime film Natural Born Killers goes down as one of the most controversial movies ever made. Entertainment Weekly ranked it 8th on their list. The movie is pure chaos, basically two killers on a violent rampage, and Stone doesn't just show the violence, he puts it right in your face, basically daring you to look away. But the real controversy started after the film hit theaters. Natural Born Killers ended up linked to at least 12 copycat murders in the US and abroad. The most shocking case came from Alberta, Canada. In 2006, Jeremy Allen Steinke, age 23, and his girlfriend, 12 years old at the time, murdered her parents and 8-year-old brother. All 3 victims were stabbed to death. Steinke watched Natural Born Killers just hours before the crime and told his friends he planned to kill the family the same way. He later told an undercover officer, "You ever watch the movie Natural Born Killers? I think that's the best love story of all time." The outrage wasn't limited to Canada or the US. The Daily Mail in the UK called the film evil and declared, if ever a film deserved to be banned, this is it. One victim's family even sued Oliver Stone and Time Warner, claiming they distributed a film they knew, or should have known, would cause and inspire people to commit crimes. The lawsuit was dismissed in 2001. Last Tango in Paris, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, is probably the most notorious example of this. It's an X-rated drama from 1972, with Marlon Brando and Maria Schneider playing a middle-aged man and a very young Parisian woman who start a loveless affair. The film set off a firestorm of outrage all over the world. Some countries just banned it outright, others tried to chop it up or edit out anything they found too much. In Italy, things escalated quickly. At first, the controversy fueled ticket sales. Theaters packed, everyone wanted to see what the fuss was about. But then the police came in, seizing every single copy by order of the prosecutor. Bertolucci and Brando both ended up in court on obscenity charges. The fallout hit Bertolucci the hardest. The Italian court stripped him of his civil rights for 5 years, so he couldn't even vote. They also handed him a 4-month suspended prison sentence. The Supreme Court went a step further and actually ordered all copies of the film destroyed. There's never been another movie that shook up the UK quite like this. Kubrick puts together this hyper-violent satire. It comes out in 1971, and the British censors actually say, yeah, let's show it, no cuts needed, which just blows up in everyone's faces. Some people call it a masterpiece, others think it's straight up dangerous, and then the copycat stuff starts. Actual crimes, people doing things straight out of the movie. There's the case with a homeless man who gets killed by a group of kids. Same as a scene in the film. Then a girl in Holland gets attacked by men singing "Singin' in the Rain." That's straight out of the movie. It gets so bad, Kubrick starts getting threats at home. So he just pulls the film himself. Bans it, basically. No uncut version in the UK for 27 years. You couldn't even see it the way Kubrick made it until after he died.